All right, we're here with Larry Broughton, and Larry, we're talking about servant leadership,
Yeah.
and the question that is raised often that I want to bring up is entrepreneurs. How can entrepreneurs apply servant leadership? I mean, it seems like entrepreneurs are more cutthroat, more more pioneering, more straight, forward thinking. It seems like servant leaders are more meek and mild. Can you explain? Can you answer that question and dive a little bit more deep into that?
Well, I think your premise may be a little off, to be honest with you.
Oh, interesting.
I agree with you that entrepreneurs can be really pioneering. That's when I think of entrepreneurs. When I think of the early entrepreneurs. I think of those pioneers who settled the West, the western part of the U.S. That took some guts. Those guys were risk takers to put their family into a covered wagon and come across those prairies, come across those mountains. Those guys are risk takers. They had vision. I think of entrepreneurs also as farmers. These guys they have a barren piece of ground and they can see what needs to go into that land to make it fruitful. These real estate entrepreneurs, they see a piece of dirt and they can imagine what's going to go up there, the building that's going to go there, the commerce that's going to develop.
Yes.
Servant leaders, I don't necessarily think, now I used to believe this, in all transparency, I used to think that servant leaders were meek and mild. But what I've learned as I've gotten older is that's not the case. Strength comes from surrender. Strength comes from subordinating your own will for the will of your team and for meeting the success and the vision and the mission of an organization. So I don't think that being an entrepreneur and a servant leader are mutually exclusive. In fact, I would argue that the most successful entrepreneurs are servant leaders. These are folks that understand that they can't do it by themselves. Successful entrepreneurs have to get people on board. They have to bring people into their vision because they got to bring people into the vision so that they can meet their goals.
Yes.
There's just too much to do when you're growing an organization for one person. And so if you're not developing people on your team, if you're not taking into account that these people have lives outside of their own, out of work, if you're not developing them, the entrepreneur ultimately is going to fall on their face. They might see great growth in the early years when their organization is not so big, but as the organization grows, if they're not developing people along the way, their growth is going to be short-lived. This would be a great topic that we could spend hours talking about.
Yes.
But I really believe that an entrepreneur who exercises servant leadership are really their horizons are boundless.